And welcome in to Citrus Preps. I'm Brett Knutson alongside my partner Mike Deem, and an exciting podcast for us because we are on the brink of high school football season. Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, it's something we've been looking forward to. I know the schools, the players, cheerleaders, bands.
Everybody's looking forward to it. But
everybody is looking forward to it. So it begins on Friday night. Our high school football game of the week will be brought to you by Eagle Buick GMC. Appreciate their support, helping us out.
Definitely.
And what a game of the week it is to start everything off. It's a rivalry that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Crystal River and Dunellen, but it's a rivalry that has been a little one-sided.
A little lopsided on the Dunellen side, yes.
Yeah, we saw that last year. We covered that game. 40-0 was the final. Different look for Crystal River completely because Cliff Lowry is the new head coach.
Yeah.
New year, new players, new ideas.
You still got some weapons. Miles Hampton. You got a couple of good playmakers
DeAndre
there.
Parker
DeAndre
is going to be
It's gonna be
running
about
the football.
Guys up front.
Yeah, the big guys up front. That's the one thing I think we noticed last year in watching that game with Dunellen. And typical for Dunellen against most teams they play, they dominate the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. They usually out-athlete you. And,
That's a good word.
They got Javon Lee orchestrating Price Harris's offense over there. So that obviously will be a problem for Crystal River. But you never know what can happen in a game.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before in games that we've had. I mean, talking about Crystal River at Nature Coast, and we didn't expect them to be in the game. And
nobody had beaten Nature Coast for two plus years, and so Citrus beat them last year. So I think it gives Crystal River some hope. They know the kids, so I think sometimes you can get intimidated by a school that has a gaudy record and a gaudy reputation. I think it helps Crystal River. These are their buddies. These are people they've played football against. So it's not like it's a team coming down from the Panhandle that has won 47 in a row or anything like that. There's that we can compete.
You know, what's funny is that it doesn't matter. This game is all about a team. And whether that team can overcome. And a lot of times it comes from here, too. And you've seen it. Bowling Green, Michigan. You're talking about teams that go to places that they're not supposed to win, and they win. So it's passable. Dunellen has a very, very athletic team and a very good team in the skill position, but also, like you said, mostly up front, both on offense and defensive lines. And it's going to be a big test for the Crystal River Pirates. Not
ranked in the preseason top 5 are the Dunellen Tigers. Just getting some votes. That's a bit of a surprise, I would say, with what they have coming back. But it started last year with the opening kickoff. They returned for a touchdown, and for all intents and purposes, the game was over. But as we mentioned, a completely different feel for Crystal River, partly because it's a new year, partly because they do have a new head coach in Cliff Lowry, and we'll hear from him and his thoughts as well as a couple of his players about opening up the season against their rivals from Dunellen.
Yeah, I think if you're a program who wants to become the best, you can't be afraid to play the best. We are not concerned about what Dunellen does or what Nature Coast, Citrus, whoever you want to throw in front of us, we're going to play. We've got to be concerned about what Crystal River High School does and focus on the Pirates and not worry about the opponent in front of us, but let's worry about ourselves and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, Dunellen, they're always good. It's going to be a tough matchup, but I think we're ready. We want to be the best, and like Coach always said, you got to beat the best. They have a good quarterback, Javon. He's a playmaker. He can run it. He can throw it. They have guys on the outside, tall receivers. They can just throw it up too. It's going to be a tough matchup, but I think our defense is ready for their offense. For us offensively, we just have to, if we execute blocking schemes and everything, I think we have the athletes to compete with them and we'll be perfectly fine.
Always playing Dunellen's going to be a competition. They're always good, and we've struggled in the past, but this year we're ready for them, and we're trying to work all week this week. So we're ready for them. Oh, they definitely have some dudes that we're worried about, and their quarterback, he can be all over the place. He can throw it, he can run it, and we just got to contain him. And a couple of their receivers, they're decent. So
we have not discussed last year or previous years or anything like that going forward, and we won't. And it's not take away anything from Dunellen High School and what they've accomplished, but we're looking to go forward from here and what we can accomplish.
They have some dudes. Dunellen definitely has some dudes. The Tigers won 40-0 last season. This is the first game for Cliff Lowry as Crystal River High School head coach. He returns home to his alma mater. It will be our Citrus Preps game of the week, so we're very much looking forward to that. Of course, you can check that game out live on YouTube. Check us out a little bit before 7 p.m. as we'll get going on the air. So tune in. You can be in your seats at any stadium. You can be at your home. You can be in your car. Just find us on YouTube. There you are, Citrus Preps. You can do that too. Pop it up on your TV. You can watch it on the big screen if you want to. Twitter at Citrus Preps, Facebook Citrus Preps. We've been thrilled with the way things have gone, with the way you folks have followed us, watched what we've been doing, and
the views are getting really good.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So thanks to everybody. Certainly does mean a lot to us, and we are excited about that. So that is our game of the week, Crystal River and Dunellen. Believe it or not, just one of 4 games in the county. Yeah, all 4 teams are at home on Friday.
How did you have that?
That's not what I would have chosen. I mean, I think we would have enjoyed it a little more if it was more spread out. But I think everybody excited to open up at home because this means all of them opened up on the road last year. Yeah. Speaking up on the road, Citrus had to go on the road. That was one of those games that had weather issues and didn't get played. You wonder if that would have made a difference come playoff time. I don't know. Tough start to the year for Citrus. If you've seen the story, their season preview, we talked to Nate Varnador and a couple of the seniors and the junior, Connor Bishop, about the passing of Alec McMurray, the senior who died at a tragic automobile accident the day before school started. A difficult time. Coach Varnador and his kids, nice enough to openly talk about it with us and just mention how difficult it has been. No script, like Coach Varnador said. This is not in the coaching manual playbook. How you deal with the young men after the loss of a teammate and a friend. Not easy to do. They went to Leesburg and won their classic. For different reasons, classics mean different things to teams.
Right.
I think that one probably meant a lot for those kids to A, play football, B, win, and maybe start to feel a little better. It's never going to go away, but maybe get into the groove of focusing on football.
Heal a little bit, and playing sports does heal. And can also galvanize you as a brotherhood. And that's kind of what they said. Yeah. And it's a brotherhood. You're out there, you're putting the heart in there and the sweat and the tears and especially a lot of tears with Citrus, and we wish them the best. I think that's going to be a very pointed effort by the whole team to make sure that they live up to Alec McMurray's legacy of what he did. Right. He was a guy that was just always out there selfless and constantly working hard, and that's what they do.
Yeah, Coach Varnador said, if he was around, he would tell us, I don't want you guys to go 0-10. I want you to go 10-0. Go get it. What they have to go get on Friday night is a Lando Lakes team that's in a bit of a transition, a new head coach, although they looked really good in their preseason classic. What does that mean? We don't know, but we do know that head coach Nate Varnador and his group are ready for a good effort from Lando Lakes.
They swarm to the football. Defensively, they are very aggressive, and offensively, they are extremely sound. They have an excellent running back who could give us fits if we don't tackle great and if we don't fit properly. So we have to respect that, and we're working that hard to make sure we're not losing sight. Coming out, we need to be focused. Can't get caught up in everybody else's job. Each player has to do their job, and if they do that, then we'll be fine. But this is a very good football team we're facing. Put up 400 yards of offense last week against Wesley Chapel. So they are explosive offensively, and they gave up 0 points. So defensively, they're very solid. So we're in for a dogfight. We know that, and we're going to respect that and expect that.
Like Coach said, their run game, definitely pretty big guys. So they put up, I think, 400 yards, which that's a lot. So really just trying to stop the run game.
Their defense they can stop the run. They're very good, very sound. They fly to the ball every play.
The issue that we faced last year is towards the end we were relying on everybody else to control our destiny, and you can't do that. We have to go into each game And wherever the chips may fall, we take it as is. But if we're able to be in the driver's seat and control our destiny, that's the position we want to be in. And so we got to hammer that to our kids every day, every week, so we don't let up and so we don't get comfortable or we don't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to play tough, play hard, play Citrus football.
Play Citrus football, indeed, and we know what that usually means. It usually means solid rushing attack, although they've got an experienced quarterback in Connor Bishop. The Gators 4-5 in 2017, Mike. They do have a new head coach, 6+ years, 7 years, I believe, for their last head coach, so a big change. Citrus, we mentioned 5-1 and 5A7 last year, which was good enough for a tie for first place in the district under normal circumstances before the point system change. That would have been good enough for probably a Monday turbo tiebreaker because it was a three-way tie, but the point system didn't help Citrus as they were left out of the state playoffs, and obviously they very much remember that.
Yeah, definitely.
And they got to start off with a Land O'Lakes team. I think this will be a pretty good test for them, and this isn't one of those games that I think is going to be lopsided one way or the other. I think this is one of those games that Citrus can find a way to win. You start to build momentum, and they talked about that a little bit.
Well, and it's also going to be a home game, and you're talking about an emotional game that's coming out. They're going to have a lot of fans there, I'm sure, that support not only the team but also Alec Murray. And you're going to see some fired-up Citrus Hurricanes out there, and then they're going to give it all the way to the end of the game, and they're going to have, like you said, I don't think it's going to be a barn burner either. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but somebody's going to have to make a mistake, and I think hopefully that Citrus comes out on top.
Yeah, we mentioned, this time of year, especially first couple of games, if you can run the football effectively, play good defense, and avoid turnovers, and those are usually things Citrus does pretty well. As we mentioned, a new head coach for Land O'Lakes. What does that do? I don't know, 400 yards of offense in the preseason classic and a shutout. But I'm sure Citrus feels like they can get a few things accomplished. They were the surprise team in the district last year. Nobody really expected them to finish probably in the top half, let alone tie for first place. They ended that long district winning streak for Nature Coast. So I think there's confidence. You just have to factor in what's happened off the field and what effect will that have.
Yeah, got a little more experience, too, in the quarterback position. I think that's going to be
Helps a
great
lot.
help. Yeah, definitely help them out.
Absolutely. Just down the road from Citrus at Lecanto High School, the Panthers will open up against Crescent City. They lost the season opener to Crescent City a year ago, a solid year for Crescent City. But as we talked to Coach Greg Harper getting ready for the season, had a lot of kids, a lot of underclassmen that were either forced or just because they were the best option, had to play a lot of minutes last year. So they have a lot of experience coming into this year, and they also have a lot of revenge on their plate because it didn't go well a season ago.
No, and starting the game off, they had to travel to Crescent City. Now, Crescent City has to travel here. That's a long haul. So that
over 2-hour drive.
It tends to kind of wear on you a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Crescent City, a good team. But I think Lecanto, being that they get a little more experience in there, they do have some backs on the skill positions. I think they can make some plays. They proved that against Westport, which another one, a pretty good team, Westport, and actually a somewhat bigger school.
Yeah, they did. They played well defensively against Westport. The quarterback for Westport is a Tennessee commit, not just an athletic Tennessee commit. There's a lot of people think he's going to actually play quarterback at Tennessee. It shows you what a good quarterback he is. He's just not going there to find a different position. So pretty impressive. But good job by Lecanto, and they'll try to continue it this week as Greg Harper and his young men get ready for their season opener.
Oh, yeah, that drive all the way across the state of Florida wasn't fun last year for us. So now they got to make the trip over here. And, everybody we play this year, we're going to be looking forward to, getting a little payback from last year. Well, every team every year is special and different, and they're never two exactly the same. Even if you return every single player, I'm going to tell you, they wouldn't be the same. So, this group is definitely different than the group that we had last year, even though we have a lot of returners. These guys are getting tired of losing, and that's when things really start happening for you.
Well, I'm hoping that we have great momentum. We really need to pick it up and just hit them in the mouth right at the start. Last year, we were a really young team. And over the summer, we worked out, got a lot bigger, and now I think we're a better team.
It's a big opportunity to come back and show this season. We've gotten stronger, we've gotten bigger, we've gotten a lot more smarter on the field. I think it's going to be a great week, good starting. I think we can beat these guys. Defensively, be strong. We got to be strong up front on our O-line. We got to be able to score the football. We're going to try to bring in some defense from last week. It was a very strong, very athletic team that we're facing. Hopefully we can get some momentum going against them.
Looking for some momentum, a season-opening win. You never know what it can do for a team like Lecanto as they try to avenge last year's 39-0 loss on the road. As we mentioned, Crescent City, pretty good ball club last year. 7-2 was their record. Not quite good enough to make the playoffs, but still a solid team. Ryan Rogers in that quarterback battle that they had will get the start in the season opener. Coach Harper did say things were close in terms of the battle. We'll see how long he stays with Rogers. I'm sure if things go well, he stays in there the whole game. And, this will be interesting because you get a team from across the state. Yeah. You saw them last year. They've obviously lost some players. You don't really know. So how much has Lecanto improved? They're banking on the weight room, all the experience from the last year paying dividends this year.
It does pay dividends when you have some kids that, you played in their sophomore and junior years, and they're coming in to be seniors now, and they want to prove themselves, and they've got that experience. Because sometimes, stepping on the field as a senior and you only have a half a year under your belt, it's a different mindset. So Crescent City coming across, that will give them a little bit of advantage edge on Crescent City from Lecanto's standpoint. Plus being at home again, always makes better for the home team to feel a little comfortable getting the season started, get the jitters out of there, and be at home.
Yeah, one thing for Coach Harper, as we talked about in our preseason preview, the longest tenured head coach now, and he has been for a couple of years in Citrus County. What that does is, maybe you did play some freshmen and sophomores last year. Those sophomores were in his system last year and the year before that, and going back to middle school. So, we've always talked about it. When you're trying to build a program at a high school, it starts with stability at the head coaching position, and then hopefully you're getting the buy-in from the middle schools, the feeder schools, and so maybe that's going to start helping out for Lecanto.
And Lecanto Middle School had a pretty good program coming up last couple of years, so that we'll see if that transitions into the high school. But Coach Harper did say in your interview too, they had a couple of people moving into the school that he picked up. So hopefully those will turn out to be to good additions.
Yeah, certainly going to be interesting. That's a game we'll keep our eye on Friday night. The fourth and final game in the county will be Seven Rivers Christian School at home as they welcome in Bayshore Christian. Monty Van takes over as the head coach at Seven Rivers. Enthusiastic guy. I've had a chance to talk to him a few times. Very energetic.
He better be.
Yeah. He's done this before in the sense that, he's come from a program that had low numbers. Like he talked about, I've got to recruit my hallways. I got to get kids out here. I got to get kids in the school interested in playing football. So he did that at his last school, Trinity Christian. 4 years, 2 playoff berths. Yeah. So he has an idea of the battle you have. Coach the kids you have, try to make them as good as possible, but then also try to build the program. Yeah. I think the biggest problem for Seven Rivers this year is, head coaching change is one thing, but the fact that they just lost so many talented players who played a lot of snaps for last year's team,
and a lot of those players played since freshman year.
Yeah, they have a lot of experience.
4 years experience in that. It's hard if you put it in perspective. I mean, you're talking about Lecanto and Crystal River and Citrus, 1,500 students, maybe 1,700 students. You get Seven Rivers. You got to put this in perspective. 321 students, something like that.
Yeah, they coach Gary Dreyer, the athletic director, said a little over 100 boys in the school, and you've got to. I mean, you almost have to get 50%, and that's hard to do.
It is.
You get down to 25%, and it's difficult. So that's what Coach Van's talking about, recruiting the hallways, and that's just getting kids interested in your program. We'll see if that pays off, but Coach Van and his players excited about opening up the season, especially after a good classic, even though they lost it on the road up at St. Edwards, feeling some confidence going into Friday night.
I'm expecting us to be very physical in everything we do. We got a good running attack, but at the same time being balanced with just naming a new quarterback and staying with him. He's getting all the reps this week at quarterback, so he's really understanding what we're doing. I'm excited. The atmosphere out here is going to be electric. Have had a whole bunch of people say, hey, we're going to be at the game, Coach. It's going to be a fun night. Our guys, they can't wait to play in the game that counts. Last week we had 6 turnovers, 3 fumbles, 2 picks, 1 fourth down turnover. Told the guys we have any more turnovers, there's going to be some reminders. So our guys have really said, hey, you know what, no turnovers, and that's been our main focus. So we don't turn the ball over. We're going to do really well.
It's going to be high energy. We always keep ourselves high energy at practice. Coach counts us at quarters. Every practice is a quarter, so if we got one bad day, it's going to be a bad quarter, he thinks. So we always keep a high energy to keep the best quarters, keep it going, hold each other accountable, high intensity. Being where they're not, it's mainly in every sport. Picking up their safeties, we're as quarterbacks, we're reading like everything. DNs, outside linebackers, corners, everything, little movements are going to be the key to getting those extra yards.
We came out last week and got a good feel for what we're capable of and what we need to work on, and we've been working on it, and I think we're going to do a lot better on Friday. We're facing a better team, but it should all work out, and we're going to fly around and hit people. Well, we made some changes to our defense and moved some people around. I'm one of them. We're going to have to bust our butts to get after them, but I think we can do it, and we'll raise some cane.
Raise some cane. That's what you got to do. First game, as we mentioned, for Monty Van as the head coach at Seven Rivers. Solid rushing attack last week. I mean, obviously in the previous era, they were all run all the time, so you would assume that there's some leftover talent and ability. 223 rushing yards, Wyatt Pepe, 114 of them. Coach Van mentioned there might have been a fumble in there that he said, we got to clean that up, but that's why you play the preseason classic. So I think that, there's probably some more confidence. I think that they played well on the road. They recognize Bayshore is a better football team, so they're going to have to play better.
Well, that's and you get in a small group of guys like that, and again, talking about the brotherhood, then that's even better because you're playing both ways on that. You're playing both sides, and you're not just tuning in and out and saying, hey, you're on defense and I'm on offense. I'm on defense and I'm on offense, and both of you're doing the same thing. So it's really from a standpoint of they're looking at it. They've got to have, number one, they got to be fit, and that's going to be one of the things that their coach is doing. And then coming into the game, they've got to be ready for it mentally because that's a drain for playing 4 quarters on both sides of the ball. Yeah, you probably don't worry so much about the seniors who've been through that, but you're talking about sophomores and maybe juniors playing just about every snap. You might see a freshman or an 8th grader in there, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, and that's the one. I mean, if you're looking at a positive, you get those young kids involved in the program because, I mean, it may only be for a snap or two, but you're going to need them to do that. And it'll be interesting to see because Bayshore expected to be a pretty decent club, so I think we'll have a little better indication of where Seven Rivers is after that game's end. So as we mentioned, 4 games on tap Friday night, all 4 at home. Seven Rivers is at home. A lot of football in Citrus County, I tell you what.
Citrus High is at home, and then, of course, our game of the week will take place at Crystal River High School as Dunellen comes to town to take on the Pirates. So we're looking forward to that. Once again, find us on YouTube. It is Citrus Preps. You can follow us on Twitter at Citrus Preps, Facebook, and Instagram as well. But YouTube is where we will be tomorrow night to find us for the game. No matter what game you're at, you can find us, sit in the stands. Everyone's got those.
What a great thing!
Free. Everyone's got that unlimited data, right? So it doesn't matter.
You watch a game live, and you're watching a game on your phone or on your laptop.
Yep. And if you happen to be running around town, just plug your phone into the radio, and you can listen to the YouTube. Just don't watch.
Don't watch it when you're driving.
just listen. Yeah, I see that happen all the time. Not in my car, but other people's.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking forward to tomorrow. Very excited about it. So check us out on YouTube. Looking forward to that. We're going to continue to do what we do as the season goes on. If you've liked what we've done so far, and we've got a lot of positive feedback, keep it up. We're going to keep being out there doing stories, talking about local sports. So we're looking forward to the entire season, but really looking forward to our game of the week as it's Crystal River and Dunellen. So that'll do it for this podcast. A little preview of what's coming up on the first Friday night of the football season on Citrus Preps. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.